I'm Lindy Kern, and I live in the Santa Ynez Valley. I'm a clay artist.
Tell me about your art.
Well, the art that I'm displaying here at the show at the Loft Gallery, it is displaying my women figures, and I titled them Women Who Weep for the World. And it started when my son was deployed to Iraq. And I had such sorrow and grief and how to direct this in some constructive way, and I just chose to work in clay, which is my media, and I started forming these women, and I had them in the weeping position, and maybe 25, 30, 40 pounds of clay, and I would make their folds in their robes with 2x4s, and then bend their heads as if in a procession of grief. And I was hoping to make one for each mother that lost a child in the war, but as days went on, it was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, so I just made maybe 300 women, and I have brought just only a dozen of them today to display in this show.
So how would you say you use art to get to your emotions, for politics? What way?
I don't think it has never been political. I think this perhaps was just the sadness of our children losing their lives. But I think my work in clay feeds my soul. I love nature. Nature inspires me, so not all my work is figurative. A lot of my work are vessels, large vessels. I sometimes will make them to contain beautiful flowers, orchids. I make birds, ravens. I've done some where I'll have a raven looking into a bowl that has mirrors on the bottom, reflecting, and he's looking in, looking for the answers. So I think it's soulful, it's meditative. I trust the process. It's my passion, it's my meditation.
How did your son do in the war?
He's home, thank you. He came home, he did come home. I actually, at the time that he was going to be deployed, I flew all the way to talk with him and try to say, you know, what will it take maybe to not have you go? And I was proud of him though, because he turned to me and says, "Mom, it's about honor." And I thought that was beautiful that he had that feeling about our country, but he is home. He's fine.
What was his reaction to his experience? Was he damaged emotionally or
no,
enriched emotionally?
For my son, I would say that he was very, very lucky. He's a JAG. He's a judge advocate. He's in the position of being an attorney. So luckily, he wasn't on the ground where we see the children that come back that are so damaged emotionally. But I think with anyone, they are definitely affected by life, by what they've seen, and friends that they've lost.
What would you say? What do you like about the experience of being an artist, and what do you dislike about it?
Oh, interesting. Well, first, I don't think there's anything I dislike about it. I don't think I ever dislike it. What happens with me, for instance, I'm having a show in November, and that is 6 months away, and I'm inclined to work at deadlines. And so the hardest thing for me is all of a sudden I have a kiln load, and sometimes things you can spend hours and hours and hours and days working on a piece, carving a piece meticulously. I do a lot of carving in clay, and then you open the kiln and something has happened, or a piece cracks, and so that's the disappointment. I think working in art has taught me the art of non-attachment. You can't be not to be attached to the work when I put it in. So I never dislike it. The deadlines might be hard sometimes, but when I go into my studio and I close the door and I turn on Bach or Beethoven or Vivaldi, and the sound is soaring throughout my studio, and I'm working alone, again, it just feeds my soul.
Are you doing it for yourself or for others? Or both?
I would say for both. In fact, one of the sculptures that I brought down tonight, I was hoping Arturo wouldn't be upset because I love her so. I get attached to my work, and I said, I am this one figure. She just has always spoken to me, and I brought her down here to let her go, and I just thought, woke up this morning, so I brought another woman down to replace her, and I'm taking her back because she'll be in my studio for inspiration.
Nice. What or who has influenced your work?
What or who? Again, nature. Nature definitely is my inspiration. I am inspired when I am driving up the coast, if I'm going up 101 and I go through Gaviota Pass, and I see that beautiful mountain range before you go through the tunnel and the striations of the earth. I can hardly wait to come home and start working with layers and layers of clay and constructing a vessel that kind of replicates that beautiful striations of the earth. So earth, the nature, our oceans, the biomorphs, the sea forms inspire my work. And then I had two wonderful teachers in workshops at Anderson Ranch in Colorado. Brad Miller was a great influence for me. Basically taught me not to be afraid of clay. I think back in the 50s and 60s, clay was fragile until, of course, a few of those big potters came on that kind of broke that mold. But it taught me not to be afraid of clay. It's that you can do so much with it, and so that has inspired me just not to be afraid.
Nice. Apart from art, what lessons have you learned in life?
Oh goodness, what lessons have I learned in life? Well, the lesson I feel that I work on in life is to be mindful, compassion, kindness. I think my work in clay, I hope, speaks of that. The forms speak of I think, giving back to the earth, that the earth has given me so much, and I want to give my thanks back in some way. So I'll try to make forms that are beauty, that will go out to the universe.
Nice. And another subject is, what story does a family member or a friend tell about you, such as your daughter? Is there any stories about you that you can tell?
That tells about me? I think you're going to have to ask my daughter. I don't have an answer to that. Do they tell about me?
Yeah. Can you think of a story, or can you suggest one to her? Is there something that's happened?
Oh my gosh, she has so many stories.
Well, suggest one.
Suggest one.
I'm going to be tongue-tied now.
No hurry.
My mom has lived in. So
Have you thought of anything?
A story that people tell about me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't think. There must be stories that people tell about me in a good way, in a.
Well, just anything funny that happened, but if nothing comes to mind, that's okay.
All right.
And lastly, what advice do you have to people to be happy?
What if you should what?
What advice do you have for people how to be happy?
Oh, it's to have gratitude. To absolutely have gratitude. I mean, we see so much suffering and hurt and pain around us. And I think for people that are healthy, to wake up and just have gratitude. Gratitude that we live where we live. That it's beautiful. So I would say to be happy is to be grateful that we're alive, and to open our eyes and to smile, and to especially smile at people we don't know, strangers on the street. I just feel we are all children of the universe. And I don't think we're just little islands unto ourselves.
So you feel like if you smile at somebody else, that makes yourself happy as well as them?
I think it's recognizing another person, and it makes, if there's a connection, if I smile and they smile, I feel good. I mean, if somebody smiles at me, if I'm walking and I'm not paying attention, then I realize the person's smiling and I smile back, I feel warm inside.
There is an issue, though, when women smile at somebody, particularly a man. Are they flirting? Is that an issue?
I guess I didn't think of that. Because if I'm doing that, that's not my intention. I'm smiling as a friend. I'm smiling as hello.
Nice.
I'm just smiling as a greeting. There's no flirtation behind it.
And if people wanted to see your art, is there a website or someplace?
I don't have a website set up as of now, but I am in Gallery Los Olivos, which is in Los Olivos, and the gallery is open 7 days a week from 10 till 5, and my work is displayed there.
Can you show me one of your pieces?
Yes. Excuse me. This is one of the figures.
Tell me about it.
Well, again, I probably worked with 25 to 30 pounds of clay. She's quite heavy. She's solid. I start out with maybe 5 or 6 different colors of stoneware, and I pound them on the cement floor, making them so they all will meld together. And then I begin hitting. I make a kind of a cube of the clay, and I have made her with 2x4. I will actually have a 2x4, and I pound the clay. I hit it with a 2x4 to make the deep folds in her dress. And then I perfect it with smaller sticks and carving tools. And then I have to, and as you can see, they're all in the position of weeping for the world condition. And I've displayed them before in an installation where I've had several hundred and in a procession, and they start with the littler ones, which are these little ones here, that are up at the top and working their ways down. And then they go into a bisque fire, and then they go into a high fire, which goes up to 2,300 degrees. So it's stoneware.